And I got on board with that, and I wanted the same miracle. I wanted Stephanie to come out and make it through, and to have our life and health restored. And the doctors always said, they said, as far as Stephanie, they said, if she makes it, she probably will never walk again. If she makes it, she won't have a nose or fingers or toes or legs. If she makes it, and it was always predicated on if she makes it. But we had great hope in a miracle, and she's a bona fide miracle that we see today.
What was the God part that you wanted people to hear?
We all have problems. We all do. Every single one of us. Not one of us can go through this mortal life without trials. And it was when I woke up from my coma that I realized I was one of those people that actually needed to rely on God to help me get through this. I've had, minor little problems where you say your prayers and then you get answers, but this was something much bigger than just a simple little prayer can fix this. This was relying on and giving everything up to Him, leaving everything up to Him. And it was hard to do that, but once I did that, I remember just being alone in my hospital room and just praying out loud, just over and over again, making deals. Like, if I can live, I will share the gospel with every single person that I know. And I'm trying to live up to that because I believe that was part of the deal. And I'm doing it. I'm trying to do it. And so he was everything. He was the one that would be with me at nighttime when it was so awful and scary and I missed my children and my family, and he was there with me, and he never left my side, never, not once. And so to tell my story would be wrong if he wasn't a part of it, because he is the story. He's the one that made it triumphant and glorious, and so I felt a little bit saddened that he wasn't mentioned in the 2020 piece, because that is the story.
Have you read the book The Survivors Club?
No.
Survivors Club is a book written by now the guy who I think heads ABC News. Does he not, Joe? Isn't he? Yeah, he heads ABC News. He's a friend of mine. He's a good man, and he wanted to find out, as a journalist, what all these survivors have in common. People, plane crashes, mountain climbing, boat wreck, whatever happened to them. How did they survive? Number one thing they had in common: God.
God, of course.
God. That's what gets them through. Back in just a second. We have two amazing people. We have plane crash survivors, Stephanie Nielsen and her husband Christian, and I think I want to start with is it Tina? Tina. Hi, Tina. Go ahead.
Hi. Thank you, Glenn. Hi, Stephanie. My question was regarding your relationship with your dad. When I read about your story, I was so moved by his courage to tell you that you're a mother, that's what you've always wanted to be, and to just do it. Have you always had that connection with your father?
Yes, I have.
Awesome.
And I'm actually the 8th of 9 in my family. So my dad, he's got a special connection with all of us, but I'm his namesake, and so I feel like we sort of have maybe something there that not everyone has. But I remember, after the accident, everyone was really nice to me. They were really sympathetic and really kind, and you do whatever you want to do, and you can, whatever you want, we'll give it to you. And I think it was one day that I was just complaining a lot to my father, because he and I sort of always, he'd make me walk laps with him to get exercise and kind of my therapy done with him. But he said to me one day, he said, "Stephanie, what do you want? What do you want to do? You've got this family, you've got these beautiful children. You've always wanted to be a mother. You know, you just do it. Just choose to do it. You can choose." And I think at first I was a little like, you're supposed to be nice to me. I just got in a plane crash, you know. but it was true, you know. You can't mope around. So after that, I realized that is what I want to do. I was born to be a mother. I love it. It's what I'm good at.
Purpose in life.
I know my purpose.
They told you that you may not walk, or they told you that you may not walk, or have hands. You have hands. They also said to you weren't going to have any more children.
Right.
But now that's changed.
Wrong again. Yeah.
And this is a double blessing, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain?
You can only give skin to yourself. Really, they can put.
We're doing skin grafts for
Skin grafts. They can give pig skin or cadaver skin as just sort of like the base, or the temporary, and then you can only give skin to yourself. So, being burned 80%, there's really not a lot that you can give yourself, and so. For my neck, they did this similar thing where they put it's kind of like breast implants in, and then they blow it up. And each week I'd go in for another treatment, and my back would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then they took that big skin and made a neck out of it. And so they actually want me to get pregnant so that they can use that skin for other parts of my body, which is really exciting because
That's amazing.
I want a baby more than anything, and I need,
What an
some
amazing.
more. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All right, let's go to Joe.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks for sharing the story. It's amazing, and your outlook. Obviously, your faith got you guys through, made you thrivers. But I guess other people who may not have that, how do they react, and how long does that process take for them to get back to normal, or is that changed for good? Other people's reaction and your interactions with other people in your daily lives, your jobs, your neighbors.
Go ahead.
Well, I guess you're talking about people who don't have that faith.
No. They're talking about. I think, Joe, if you're talking about the people around you, have you had friends and family that have been shook by this, and you can't get them?
Yeah, because it changes you, that you're going through it. They don't know how you're going through it. They're looking for
I lost every friend I had when I went at my alcoholism, and lost everything. I can count the friends that I have now that I had then on one hand. Same question here. How have your friends reacted?
Our friends, Stephanie and I have talked about this. We have the best friends.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of friends, but the ones we have are good, stellar friends.
Come on, stop. Throw somebody under the bus.
I really mean that.
Well, we really only have like 2 friends, so it really doesn't. It's not a big deal.
But they were instrumental in our healing as well, and two of our friends, they were the godparents of our children. And in the interim, while our family was trying to figure out what to do with our situation with our children, our house and stuff, they stepped in and played the role as godparents and took the kids for overnight or a couple of days while Stephanie's family and my family worked out some things. So we have good friends in that regard. But plus, our friends, the few friends we have, we share the bond of our faith as well. We share a common belief in God, and having that foundation as part of our mutual friendship made enduring and thriving in our accident possible.
With that faith, is there anything that you believe that you cannot conquer?
I don't think there is anything. No, I think that with God all things are possible.
Of course.
Back in just a second. We are back with Stephanie Nielsen and Christian Nielsen, and we have final remaining minutes. And I'm sorry, I can't remember your name again. You're from Portland, Oregon. What is your name again?
Daphne.
Daphne, yes. Your question?
How did you change from a negative mindset to a positive one?
It didn't happen really fast. It took me a while. But being positive to me means looking at what I have already that's wonderful. And I still had wonderful things. I still had 4 beautiful children and a handsome husband. And I still had my faith and my relationships. And so I just remember thinking about those things, and pretty soon they outnumbered all of the awful things that I was going through. And so it would just spin around, and I could do that all day long. And I wanted to do that all day long because I was pretty bummed a lot. But I just never let go of the feeling that God's never left me, and my children will never leave me, and my husband loves me regardless of what I look like. And then all of a sudden, it just seemed good, seemed okay.
You two are amazing. You really are.
Oh,
Thanks.
thank you.
A minute each, the last 2 minutes. Probably 2.5 million people are watching. I can't tell you how many people are struggling with something. Mm-hmm. Give them a message. What is the most important thing that you could say to somebody?
I would say that, everybody has challenges in life, and everybody suffers at one point or another. And a lot of people lace up their boots and put on a happy face, knowing that things are just as bad as the day before and the day before that. And for some people, they may not feel like there's much hope in their life. But that's not true. There is hope, no matter how low you get and how bad you think your life is. If you have hope in your future and trust that God is more powerful than you are, then things will turn out. And I believe that the level of trust that you put in Him somehow equates to the outcome of how much hope you will have. Stephanie?
Similar to what Christian said, I believe and I know that there is a God, and He loves me, and He loves my children, and He wants my happiness, and He wants everybody's happiness, not just mine, not just the people who are good, everybody, and He will accomplish that. And so if I can help people do that, then I'm here. I'm more than willing to do that. I believe that I'm a blessed person, and so I want to share that with everybody. And so I would say that to them.
Back in a minute. A year ago, last summer, I asked you to take the 40-day and 40-night challenge, a blueprint for national survival. And it is the first line in the challenge that is the last line of the declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. That is the key. From New York, good night, America.